Okay, so we got the Celtics tonight. What up, Raptors Nation? Welcome to Jurassics. This is your host, Ali. And I just want to give you all a quick preview today on the game we're about to have tonight against the Celtics. Toronto, as we all know, 10 of our 17 players on this roster are age 24 or younger. That game one that we had, I wouldn't worry too much about that game. Yeah, we shot disgustingly horrible. It was 30% from the field. And believe me, we shot ourselves in the foot. That wasn't anything to do with Washington and them working some sort of wizardry on us to make us shoot that way. That was just us assimilating to a new system, a new flex offense. And given the age of our team, the youth, consider the fact that it's going to take some time. There will be some growing pains. But am I just being hopefully optimistic here? I'm definitely not. This team was constructed very deliberately by a former CEO of the year, or executive of the year rather, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster and co. If we are so happy that Masai has signed with us a multi-year extension, then we must trust the process. And this ain't Philly. When I say trust the process, I'm not talking a process like Philly's. Our process is much shorter. Our process is much more well thought out. And Masai Ujiri has a task to keep the one and only Canadian team, the one and only Canadian basketball team, NBA team, running. He's not gonna risk making this market go down in Toronto. He's gonna make sure that this team can be talked about, has a direction that they're going, and the direction has to be exciting. Otherwise, no one's gonna come and watch these Raptors, and he could risk lowering business for the only NBA team that we have in Canada. We go back to mediocrity and playing like we did in the first 20 years of us as a franchise. We face off against an old nemesis, the Boston Celtics, who eliminated us in the bubble. And we've had a lot of games against Boston. Boston's been, they're green like kryptonite for us, it seems, past couple of years. What I will say is that I have a much more optimistic and hopeful outlook for our team than I would for Boston. I feel like Kyrie just came and screwed that team up, right? Like one of my favorite NBA analysts on YouTube, NBA Chev, always says, Kyrie came and screwed that team. Jason Tatum wasn't the same, took away his confidence. He had to rebuild it, And I don't think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are gonna cut it for Boston to be able to be what they were threatening to be once, like that bubble year, for example. Yeah, it's not the same Boston. Not to mention they have Al Horford now, in the preseason, Al Horford wasn't, he played a really good game against us, but you can't expect that from a vet like him, an aging vet like him, especially given the fact that, the man's slow as fuck, and he's not gonna be able to run with our boys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Not through a whole season like that. All right, so the number one thing we got to do is make sure that we keep our youngsters even keeled. We're going to have to show them how they can manage their emotions during, these times where you might have some butterflies, right? So we just have to be more prepared for those moments, have to be more prepared, have a better game plan, okay? And I feel like, just like Goran Dragic said in a recent interview, that those guys, they're going to realize sooner rather than later, just how to stay even keeled throughout the course of a season. Because we purposely, deliberately interview candidates for our team to be players on our team. We interview them an eye on their attitude toward improvement, their humility, and that's key, right? Because if you are going to invest your money in a player, you want to make sure that he's willing to invest his best efforts into your hopes for him, to your projection of what this player can become for your franchise and in this league. We have to make sure we keep our eyes on the big prize here, the bigger picture. Don't be concerned about opening night, okay? It's literally just a drop in the bucket. You're looking at it in the context of a full regular season with 82 games. This is just a drop in the bucket. There's plenty of time for improvement. And as Nurse said in the post-game interview, there were positives to take away from this. I didn't feel like it, but the Raptors were a +7 in +17 in field goal attempts. We made Washington turn over the ball 23 times. We had 41 deflections. We were +12 in offensive rebounds. We held them to 41 in the second half. Those are a lot of good things to take away, right? Not many of these things are seen on the final score or the box score, right? You have to look at the intangibles. You have to look at the advanced metrics. With all those numbers that I just mentioned, for us to get blown out, obviously there was one area that we really lacked in, and that was shooting. All right, so all those good things we did, if we're not shooting, if we're not getting the ball in the bucket, it negates those good things. So we're not gonna really appreciate those things or even see that those things happened much. But let's say we even shoot mediocre on any given night, and we play defense like that, which there's a very good likelihood of happening because the Raptors are not that bad, 30%, all right, from the field at shooting. Then just imagine what the results would look like if we just shot mediocre with that kind of defense. We would win most games if we just shot mediocre with those kind of defensive stats. At the end of the day, this is going to be about trying to get better every day for these Raptors. And tonight, we have another opportunity against the Boston Celtics to do that. All right, so this NBA season is a marathon, guys. It's not a race, and it just started. It may have been ugly looking in the beginning, but there's also going to be a lot of peaks to these valleys along the way. So as long as we're able to not get way too high on, when things are going well and way too low when they're going bad, then we should be able to make it through this season with our head held up high and with high hopes for the future of this team and this franchise. With all that being said, let's take Boston to school tonight. Really looking forward to the game. Stay tuned for that post-game analysis. It's going to drop tomorrow, most likely in the morning. Enjoy that on your Saturday morning. And Fantasy Friday will also be dropping tomorrow. It will not be dropping today. I do have to gather a little bit more information for you guys in regards to what kind of predictions and tips I want to give you. So sorry for the late posts of Fantasy Friday, but it will be coming tomorrow or at the latest on Sunday. And y'all stay tuned for that, where I'll have NBA fantasy tips, predictions, and outlooks. Okay, so I really look forward to producing more content for you guys. Please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button so more people can enjoy Raptors content and NBA content such as this, especially if you enjoyed it. And let's go Raptors. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.